recorded live at 4ZZZ Studios, Meanjin, Brisbane.
On 102.1 FM.
And broadcast across Australia on the Community Radio Network.
You're listening to Zed Games.
Zed Games brings you the best in gaming news, reviews, community and culture. Want to reach out?
Share your hot take?
Or do you just want to share your favourite game?
Find us on socials at Zed Games AU.
Hello, you're listening to Zed Games. It is my birthday today.
Yay! Happy birthday.
I'm Zara. With me in the studio this episode is
Caroline.
And
Peter.
And soon Natalia, but she is currently drifting her way into the studio. But how are we all doing tonight?
Good. Yeah. Wishing I had a little party hat and a little...
You've got a party hat in my heart. Oh. You also do as well.
What's it doing in there?
You left it lying around and just wandered in there. But we've
sparklers, all of the above.
We've actually got quite a lot packed for tonight.
We do.
So we've got some news. We've got a ton of interviews about the developers behind the games at the Indie Dev Night last week. We've also got a review as well, and of course, music.
So many things.
So without further ado, we're going to jump into the week in gaming news. But first, we must play the tune.
News. Okay, this week, news speed run, go. Layoffs at Square Enix at the US and the UK offices. Yay! Again, a possible explanation to this may lie in an internal memo from the company. Square Enix outlines a business plan that involves automating 70% of their QA and debugging tasks by 2027 using AI and the reorganization of overseas organizations, possibly, layoffs, and to shift towards consolidating development functions in Japan.
Yay!
Also, GTA 6 has been delayed again.
Who could have seen this coming?
Yeah, it's been delayed to November 19th, 2026.
Or May 238.
Sorry, real quick. I initially misread that and I was like, oh, that's not too bad. And then I read the rest of it and I was like,
yes.
Yep.
Yeah, and in response, Take-Two Interactive stock took a nearly 10% hit from 252.5 to 219.87 USD.
Yep.
Those are some numbers.
It'll come back.
Yep. Oh, it's already...
They just reinvested elsewhere.
It's already bounced back a bit since, but Rockstar announced the delay, saying that the extra months will allow for the level of polish you have come to and deserve.
I just hope it's content full, feature rich. GTA 5 didn't at launch, and it took them a year. So if they delay it,
I'm not going to play it anyway.
Full
so
experience.
I don't care.
Just don't hold your breath, everybody.
Yeah. Anyway, Funko in danger? Question mark? In a financial report, the company is said to have recorded a loss of 1 million USD in the third quarter of 2025, and that their sales have tanked. Apparently, the company has over 500 million in debt, which puts a doubt in its ability to continue.
Oh,
yep.
Oh
no, how terrible. Yeah, it's tat.
Wah.
I hate it.
Let's move on.
Anyway, news nibbles. There's update number 4 for Silksong has been released, including officially adding a simplified Chinese fan translation by fan group Team Cart Fix to the game, following the earlier difficulties with the official translation.
Nice.
Texas is suing Roblox related to child safety.
Yep.
A Pokemon card was set into space in what looks like advertising for card protection accessories and card grading services.
Okay, we're now littering more in space.
Oh, they brought it back and they also regraded it. But advertisements, don't care. Pokepia gets a release date, March 5 on the Nintendo Switch 2. And also this... At midnight this morning, a Super Mario Galaxy movie direct happened, and the new Mario movie trailer was debuted. Cast members for Rosalina, Brie Larson, and Bowser Jr., Benny Safdie. And then there's some game releases on November 14th. Duty Black Ops 7 comes to PC, Xbox, and PlayStation, as well as Dragon Ball Sparking Zero on the Switch 1 and 2.
We've also got one more. We've also got Dice of Kalma coming out on PC and mobile. That is a game by Pepperbox Studios, which is we've got one of their members here in Brisbane. So
Yay!
Nice. Another notable mention, November 18th, Squirrel with a Gun on Switch 2.
Nice.
And yeah,
Yay.
that's basically it this week in gaming news.
Except
a late announcement this morning sort of idea.
Oh, by the way, Natalia has just arrived.
I don't know if you got the news, but Natalia was delayed to quarter 2 of this show. Glad to be here.
Indeed. In other gaming news, later on in the morning, after we wrote the news and whatnot, Steam has announced their new gaming console / PC, the Steam Machine. A small form factor digital PC that's designed to work with controllers in the living room and operates using Steam OS, but also acts as a PC, so you can use it with your keyboard and mouse and multi-monitor support and so on and so forth. Check it out. There's also announcements in regards to the new Steam Controller 2, which looks like it's just a Steam Deck that's been kind of cut in half without screen and shoved together, and their new kind of augmented reality VR headset thing as well.
The VR headset looks pretty trim.
It looks condensed.
Yeah, so
And
I'm kind
I
of
hope
really
that they've
excited
chucked a
about
fan
that.
inside, because my face just gets so sweaty in VR headsets. Just a little fan.
No,
just
Peter, that is going to be.
I know. That'll be a hat.
I think it's very interesting how just as Xbox is kind of leaving the console market, Steam is like hopping into it.
They're just
with
kind of like,
confidence.
Slide in.
Yeah, and I think they stand a chance. So I think people have goodwill for them.
My favorite feature so far, customizable faceplates. So faceplates are the new hats for Steam. Indeed.
Alright, and that's it this week in gaming news.
News.
Just want to say thank you for wishing me a happy birthday. I appreciate you, Jessica and Tracy, and also happy birthday to Tracy.
Oh,
we are
happy
November
birthday.
13th twins. Woohoo!
Yay! Valentine's babies.
And oh my god, Escape from Tarkov goes 1.0 this weekend after nearly 10 years in beta.
What?
So
released?
Holy moly.
1.0.
That snuck up on me.
Definitely 10 years of sneaking.
Speaking of sneaking up on me, we are about to hop into a series of super sweet interviews with developers who participated in our Indie Dev Night last week on the 6th of November. Natalia, why don't you get us started?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I got the pleasure of speaking all of the developers who were at the Indie Dev Night. I think the Queensland scene at the moment is genuinely the strongest in all of Australia, and I'm so excited. You can feel the passion out
Indie
of
devs unite.
every single one of the developers I spoke to. And so without further ado, I had the pleasure of speaking with Riley from Sbug Games, who just released Isopod, and we had on the show a couple weeks back. And now they are releasing another game called Wirm. And I'll let Riley introduce.
I'm sensing a theme.
Let's go. Woo.
Hi, I'm Riley. I'm part of Sbug Games, and I'm working on Wirm, which is a little climbing game, a little wiggly, physicsy platforming adventure where you play as a worm and wiggle about. The contrast between the disappointments that the game allows you when you fail on your own, like when you've messed up, when you know it's your fault and you've fallen a great distance and then you have to climb back up, it makes the final climb when you finally reach the top of the hill feel much more impactful. To make an experience like this a bit more accessible, I think in our case comes down a lot to the tone of the game rather than the mechanics. Like, this is a colourful, cheerful, childlike little worm with a smiley face, and when that's the image you're seeing on screen, it's a lot harder to get annoyed when it falls down and you hear a cartoony little bonk on its head when it hits a rock. And then it's fine. And when it wiggles back up, its head rises up again and it's just got a little dumb, empty-faced smile on its face. It's a lot harder to be annoyed by it. And just having the moment-to-moment gameplay be enjoyable with that kind of physicsy wiggliness to it, and it's just swinging about and digging through the dirt is just satisfying in its own right. It doesn't feel so frustrating when you haven't quite made a goal and you have to try it again because it's fun to try again. If you like the idea of those Bennett Foddy style rage games, but you find them too frustrating and too annoying to play, this is nicer. This is a nicer game than those. Like, it is kinder to you. So maybe give Wirm a try instead. I'm just really proud that it's my 2-year-old son's favorite game. He loves it so much, and that makes me very happy. Making it for him, really. Here's the voice of the release trailer. I've already recorded it, and oh god, you should hear it. It's the cutest thing in the world.
Hello. Did you want to be a worm? Can we go about and declare the dead and go on our little adventure?
It is the cutest thing in the world.
It is.
We're Irem.
And make sure to squiggle when you look it up.
Yes.
Next up, I got to speak to Piers of Hyperrouter fame. It's one of the coolest looking games. If you've been to the Queensland Games Fest, you will know which game it is. I'll let them take it away.
Hi, I'm Piers. I am a graphics programmer and the sole developer of Hyperrouter, which is a exploration/speedrunning game about exploring the internet of the late 90s and early 2000s as if it were a physical place. I suppose the big draw of Hyperrouter is it draws a lot on the aesthetic of back when the internet wasn't as good as it is these days. The biggest inspiration was like data moshing and video compression effects. Basically all of the things that the technology that we don't notice in our life does when it isn't working properly. Originally, Hyperrouter was conceived as an exploration game. I felt like I was creating a really beautiful world that I wanted to just walk around and explore. But I was working with a musician who I was not communicating very well with, so he just brought me some really fast-paced, like, breakbeat music. I was like, okay, I guess I'm making this game fast now. So I kind of just kept turning up the speed. I kept, like, making it so the character could jump further, and eventually I had this really satisfying loop of running around with this really heavy sense of momentum and weight as you jump over gaps, and it became this really captivating balance, like once you have a sense for it, having to run through it really, really fast and learn the spaces around you. My favorite thing in the game right now is how the audio works. I'm not a sound designer, so I really struggled at first, and I landed on this approach where almost all of the sounds in the game are made by applying effects to the soundtrack, because music is something I understand and I know how to make, and I know how to find musicians. When you jump over a gap, when you die, when something's chasing you, it's all done by like adding reverb or distortion to the music. Like, you know, there's this massive orbital laser in the game, and when it chases you down, it like starts bit crushing the music, and it's quite terrifying and oppressive, and I think that just sound designing it in that way gives it a really interesting soundscape.
It really, really does. Folks, you got to tune into your local game scene. There's really cool stuff happening here, happening wherever you are. You just sort of need to keep an eye out and keep an open mind, because they'll surprise you. I've turned 31 today.
Yay!
Woo!
I demand a sacrifice.
As I require no sacrifices except for some of your time, because we've got some more beautiful, beautiful little interviews lined up. Natalia, why don't you introduce the next one?
Yeah, I got the pleasure of speaking with Cohan and Alana, also going by Alanimations on Instagram, and they are beautiful artists, and they're working a lot of cool things, but specifically heavy magic, luchadors, wizards. What more could you ask for?
What more could you ask for?
Luchador wizards.
Yeah.
There's also a Kelpie as well, which I love.
Hit the interview.
Howdy, my name is Cohan Andrew Hooper. I'm a programmer who goes by Grey Colt Games.
Hi, I'm Lana McAnulty, Alanimation on all socials.
We're working on a game called Heavy Magic, which goes by Macho Magi Wrestling Wizardry. It's a top-down beat-em-up where you progressively go through levels in order to take the champion's belt. The original plan was to make it a bodybuilding themed game, but every time you pitch a game about muscly wizards to someone, it eventually devolves into talk about professional wrestling. So it eventually devolved into that.
I want to be able to hit someone. I want to be able to throw down. It's very over the top. So that kind of really lent itself to an idea of having something fantastical involved with it, which was magic spells.
I think that wrestling is also a good space for positive masculinity because it reaches my goal, which is to create a positive masculine character. I think the hard origin of wanting to work on this concept came from just being on the bus and hearing, I guess, how kids talk about celebrities like Andrew Tate and other brosphere characters. And I thought, man, I'd like to make a macho, strong, manly character who doesn't divulge into those things. And I think the theme of wrestling really helps support that.
All the characters that you're fighting are inferior in wizard culture in some way from a traditional magic wrestler. And being able to have a character that fights these characters regardless kind of gives them a point of, oh, hey, there's this dumb guy and he's fighting us like regular and he doesn't care that we fight weird or the wrong way. And they kind of get a sense of camaraderie and respect out of it. It's camp. And camp, there's no room for, I mean, it's not no room for sincerity, but there's no room for that kind of not making fun of it kind of vibe. So we have a hyper masculinity kind of sphere, but it's kind of offset by everyone wearing crazy sparkly costumes and little mini skirts and big weird heads.
If you're interested in games like Hades or Doom, we're making that. It's going to be fast-paced and easy to pick up.
If you like big, hot, muscular wizards, you will like Game. Wrestling is drag. Put that on the books.
Wrestling is so drag.
Yes, I have said this often. Wrestling is just drag.
Again.
Love it.
Tyler, do you want to introduce the next interview?
Yeah, I think it's an interesting contrast, I guess, of like making the masculine here like softer and more like kind-hearted, whereas now we're going to a game called Key Fairy, which is a bullet hell, but it's a pacifist bullet hell.
Yes.
And I think Tex has some really interesting thoughts about how to do that. So hit it off.
I'm Tex. I'm a designer and generalist games person. I'm co-developing Key Fairy, a hand-drawn folkloric pacifist bullet hell. I'm really interested in taking things away from games and taking things away from genre and trying to see what you get as a result of that. What happens if you have a pacifist character in an action genre? So you still get that sort of frenetic, fast-paced engagement, but with a character who doesn't kill people. A lot of really, really popular games aren't violent. Like Candy Crush isn't violent. The Sims isn't particularly violent, unless you're a cruel god who removes the ladder. But a lot of genres are very violent, in part because violence is a very direct interaction, which is the sort of interaction that's really easy to gametize. A lot of the games that are more pacifist focused, like The Sims, are really complex. And sometimes it's nice to have a really direct, focused, frenetic, crunchy experience, which, like, in the real world, we also go towards with sports. It's just that sports is trying to abstract out violence into something that you don't have to murder people with. But in video games, you can murder people, so that's easy. That's all, like, founded in these ideas of, like, conqueror heroism and the idea that a hero should be the strongest guy in the room. And I think if you have a pacifist protagonist, you can get a different sort of person who's not necessarily going to beat everybody up, and they're not the strongest person in the room. And their strengths are more that they're nice or liked or cheeky or a bit of a trickster or whatever. And the result of that is that we've got a unique engagement system where instead of attacking, you're sort of dancing around monsters trying to collect stars or items that they're dropping, which produces new patterns of gameplay. Hope you have a nice day. Hope you have a good day. Now it's on record that you have to have a good day.
Hi, I'm Jane Way, and I'm composing music for a local indie game called Key Fairy. Key Fairy is a hand-drawn, pacifist, folkloric bullet hell. You encounter strange forest folk who attack you, but you don't get to attack back. Instead, you collect stars and make friends. So instead of battle music, we have engagement music. The concept for the engagement music is a feeling of franticness, with a heavy emphasis on vocal shouts and body percussion to bring out the folkloric vibe. I had a lot of fun making up syllables and experimenting with different sounds I could make just with my body. As a composer, I often get deep into rabbit holes with the vast array of instruments, synths, sound libraries available to us. So it was really refreshing to have such a strong brief from Al Machine to work with. If you've played the Key Fairy demo, you'll recognize the off-kilter absurdist dialogue. To capture that, the soundscape is also scattered with random samples. In this track, you'll hear a wooden doorstopper, a mop from Bunnings, my cat screaming, his kitty litter, don't worry it's clean, a porcelain jar, a 3D printer. I could go on, but I'm only supposed to talk for 1.5 minutes. So go play the Key Fairy demo and wishlist it on Steam. It's coming out early next year. Bye!
Thank you so much, Janeway. So we're going to be listening to a track from Key Fairy called We're Engaged, the part where I run around collecting stars and try not to die.
I hope this contains the kitty litter.
You're listening to Zed Games. My name is Zara, and with me in the studio this episode is Caroline, Peter, and Natalia.
Hey-o.
Coinky Dink. It's my birthday today, and I also got a copy of Expedition 33. So really excited. Kind of bummed I'm not turning 33, but
I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, I think we discussed this
I'll
off
find
air.
out for myself, you know.
Yeah.
We've got some more beautiful little interviews. Next up, it is one with a couple of the team members from Pepperbox Studios. They are they're a Finnish team, and most of them are based over in Finland, where the long dark is upon them. But we've got one of them here in the region, and tomorrow, Friday, they actually have a game coming out. So I will just let them introduce themselves and what they're all about. Why don't you two introduce yourselves?
Right, I'm Elias. I am the game designer, programmer, also pixel artist and sound designer of the studio.
Santtu, Finnish as well, like Elias, but I've been living now in Australia the last 3.5 years. I basically do all the music to our games and also marketing, and I graduated with a business degree, so that's also part of my side as well. Yeah, really happy to be in this team.
The start of the studio is a bit of a sad tale in a way. Half of our team members were working in this company in Finland, and the entire game development side of the company was fired 1.5 years ago, approximately.
Wow, not long.
Yeah, we thought we have a really good team here. It would be such a shame to let that go to waste. So in the end, we decided to stick together and make a new company, and our CEO called upon some of his friends, which would be Santtu and one of our other programmers, to join the posse, and together we formed the studio.
And now, actually, it's pretty interesting how like everything works. It's 8-hour time difference, but we actually manage it very well. Works well even though I'm here, and I think it's mainly because we're so used to play online. It's been so good to work like this personally. Like, I've been really happy. This gaming culture in Finland is actually pretty huge. Like, we have a couple very big companies that have made like really popular titles. Quite often, because we're such a small country, they're actually like dropping hints and different Finnish things to those games. We also kind of want to continue that same tradition with this guys of Kalma. Kalma is actually, it means death in Finnish. And we were really happy that we again have something to show Finnish people that we're like making games, and you can be proud of us, hopefully.
Where can people keep up to date with Pepperbox in the future?
You can follow our Steam page, and you can also join our Discord server, where we have channels for each of our games and like to talk about other stuff as well, like what we had for breakfast, for example.
What did you all have for breakfast today? I had a breakfast sandwich.
I can't remember.
Oh.
Some toast with Vegemite and cheese.
I had a homemade muesli bar.
Oh, not too bad.
Very nice.
So Pepperbox Studios have Dice of Kalma coming out tomorrow. It's a really addictive, very, very satisfying game to play. It's like Yahtzee, but better.
Gorgeous looking as well.
So cool.
Nice.
Next up, we've got I got to talk to the folks behind Delta Phase Games, who have created the game Sugarrr, which is about fruit dinosaurs, and you're looking after a herd of them, and you're trying to feed them, and Delta Rummy, which is...
I get the name now.
which is, well, a variation of Rummy, but a little bit juiced up. So let's just let them take it away. Why don't you two introduce yourselves in the studio?
Hi, I'm Eris. I am the founder and instigator of Delta Phase Games. We are a Southeast Queensland or Brisbane-based board game publisher.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I'm Josh. I'm the illustrator / sort of art director / general helper.
Sugarrr and Delta Rummy are the games that featured at the Indie Dev Night. What was the inspiration behind those games?
So both of them are my designs, and Delta Rummy is the easiest, so I'll say that first. Something I do sometimes when I'm trying to concept or come up with ideas is I'll get a deck of playing cards, and I started developing like this idea around a Rummy style game, and a lot of it was because my mum particularly, but our family has played a particular Rummy game for about 30 something years now, and like we got taught it back in the 80s, and my mum particularly really loves it. It's like one of her favourite games. Parents are getting older, and so we don't play it as much and all that kind of stuff, and so I've been trying to work on a game that she'd enjoy.
What is the story behind the creation of Delta Phase Games?
When you want to make board games, there's really two main paths to do it. You make your game and then you pitch it to an existing publisher. So just think of like an author would pitch a book to a book publisher. The other option is to publish it yourself. So the hope is that like over time we can become another publisher that especially local designers can approach and talk to us and see if we can help them. But it's going to take time to get there because it's obviously hard work and a lot of money and all that kind of stuff. So yeah. Where
can people keep up to date with you and Delta Phase Games?
Sure. So we have a website, deltaphasegames.com. So that's deltaphasegames.com. On there, we've got a store. You can buy our current products and links to our social media. But we also are on Instagram as just at Delta Phase Games, and we're also on Facebook, so facebook.com/Delta Phase Games. So the other thing that I'd like to just link to or promote is Incubator Brisbane. So I run a thing called Incubator Brisbane, which you can find us on Facebook is the main way. Just look for Incubator Brisbane, and it's a approximately monthly board game design playtesting group. So we meet to play each other's games, help each other, and try and help everyone in the local area.
That was Eris and Josh from Delta Phase Games. You're listening to Zed Games. My name is Zara, and with me in the studio this episode is Caroline, Peter, Natalia. Peter has a review for us.
I do indeed.
Well, let's get into it.
So, I have been playing Oddsparks, an automation adventure, for a little while now, and it has become one of my cozy go-to games to enjoy when not wanting sci-fi craziness, factory builders and things. The basic loop is simple and soothing. You load up your world, visit your little village to remind yourself of what your goals are, leave to grab a few resources, drop a workshop, draw some paths, then call on your tiny wooden helpers, the Sparks, and watch them go to work. They follow the paths, chop the trees, haul items, run machines, and carry it all back while you mostly stand there being their little shift supervisor. You feel more like the local tinkerer, doing things for the town sort of idea. When you first load up the game, you are lucky enough to be the one closest to the strange object that falls from space and lands in the middle of your village. You decide to start using it to make sure the lives of everyone else in the town a little bit easier. There are no harsh timers or disasters within the game as well. The game is all about finding a rhythm with efficiency and building something new, not putting out production fires. The first area really sets the mood. It is a calm mix of forest and open fields with friendly and not so friendly creatures wandering around. Your sparks weave through it all like determined little wood-based minions. Underneath the cozy look, Oddsparks is still a factory automation game. Think Factorio, but crossed with Pikmin. You gather basic resources, refine them into parts, turn those parts into more advanced parts, and repeat. The twist is that the sparks are your moving belts. Instead of building metal conveyor belts, you draw paths and give your sparks jobs by throwing them at it. It's adorable. As they wander along the paths, they loop around picking up and dropping off items when they pass the right buildings. Early chains are very friendly. Trees become logs, logs become planks, planks become panels. And you can mostly eyeball most of the different ratios. As you move into more advanced materials and specialist sparks, the classic factory brain knot appears. I hit a wall when I tried to automate some of the later sparks in the game, and suddenly had buildings feeding more buildings to create one spark. Pausing, zooming out, and slowly untangling the mess became a part of the fun, and getting that new line running cleanly felt very satisfactory. The sparks themselves carry a lot of the game's charm. Different types are better at different jobs, some are better at hauling items, some are more efficient at running machines, and some are built entirely for combat. My favourite is by far the choppy spark. Throwing a swarm of the sparks and watching them rain down murderous intent on whatever I deemed to be my enemy at the time never stopped being funny. Combat stays light and a bit silly. It gives your sparks something dramatic to do without dragging the game away from its cozy feel. Most of the early tutorial in the game, though, comes from the quests from villagers. I am someone who reads quest text, and I found the explanations clear enough. If you usually skip through dialogue or are completely new to factory games, some parts might feel quite tough, because the game expects you to actually try things and learn from them. Go figure.
Yeah.
Overcome challenge.
Wow.
I really noticed this mostly in co-op though, with a friend who does not play many factory games. We had fun, but they very much struggled when they ignored the quest text and just guessed based on the cute look of the different sparks as to what they did or were good at. On the technical side, I played on PC. The early access build had slightly slow initial load times, but by the 1.0 release, it felt much smoother. Once the game had loaded my world, it ran well for me, even with lots of sparks, lots of machines, all running simultaneously. It was very happy to sit running for long periods of time. With that, who would I recommend this game to? If you already enjoy factory games and want something softer and cuter to unwind with, Oddsparks is an easy suggestion. It still gives your brain something crunchy to chew on, or just with that just doesn't have harsh industrial edges. Oddsparks quietly turns cozy tinkering into something a bit magical, creating those little sparks of imagination and creation. And Oddsparks, an automation adventure, is currently available on PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox X and S.
Thank you so much for that, Peter. It sounds so pleasant.
It very much is.
A bit of a nature approach rather than like the super industrial
and
kind of
while
thing.
there's combat like other ones, they're not coming to attack you like in Factorio. But in the same sense, it's not entirely factory building like Satisfactory.
Yeah.
A lot of fun.
Sounds like it's worth checking out. That is actually all we have time for this episode. I know, it sneaks up on us every single time.
Every time.
I am 31 years old today.
You are.
I love you all.
She demands
Have
a
a
sacrifice.
fantastic night. Bye.
Thanks for listening to Zed Games.
If you'd like to listen to more, you can find us on the Community Radio Plus app
or find us on socials at ZED Games AU.
See you next time.